The massive observation station hung silently in space, its crystal displays showing countless streams of data from the primitive planet below. Captain Reed stood at his post, his tall frame casting a shadow over the holographic displays. His four eyes blinked in sequence as he reviewed the latest reports from Earth. "Sir, you need to see this." The young observer Mark pointed at his screen, his fingers trembling slightly. "I'm detecting unusual energy patterns from their research facilities." Reed walked over slowly, his boots making soft sounds on the metal floor. He had watched Earth for 20 years now, and nothing about these humans had ever surprised him. They fought their small wars, polluted their atmosphere, and barely managed to reach their own moon. Primitive beings, just like the Council had labeled them. "What is it now, Observer Mark?" Reed's voice carried the boredom of someone who had seen it all before. "The humans." Mark zoomed in on a facility in Europe. "They're conducting experiments with quantum fields that shouldn't be possible at their technology level. Look at these readings." The display showed energy signatures that pulsed with an odd rhythm. Reed studied them for a moment, then laughed. Probably another failed attempt at fusion power. Remember last month when they tried to build a better rocket engine? But Mark wasn't laughing. He pulled up more data, showing similar readings from facilities in America, Asia, and even underground stations in Antarctica. "Sir, they're coordinating these experiments globally. The energy patterns, they're creating quantum links across their entire planet." Reed waved his hand dismissively. The Council classified Earth as a Level 2 civilization barely a year ago. They can't even travel to their nearest planet effectively. He turned to walk away, but stopped when a new alert flashed across the main screen. The energy readings had jumped dramatically. Somewhere beneath the Earth's surface, something massive had powered up. "Sir," another observer, Tech Wilson, called out from his station. "I'm detecting signs of artificial quantum entanglement on a planetary scale. But that's..." He paused, double-checking his readings. "That's at least Level 4 technology." Reed felt the first stirring of unease in his stomach. He moved to the central command console and began running his own scans. Impossible. They were fighting with chemical weapons just 50 years ago. No species develops this fast. The station's AI chimed in with its mechanical voice. "Warning. Detecting advanced quantum field manipulation. Technology level assessment. Inconclusive. Recommended action. Immediate report to the Galactic Council." Reed's hands hovered over the console. Filing such a report would make him look foolish if he was wrong. Earth was supposed to be an easy assignment. Watch the primitives, catalog their slow progress, and ensure they didn't destroy themselves before reaching space. Getting the Council involved over a few strange energy readings could end his career. "Sir," Mark's voice had grown urgent. "The quantum field is stabilizing. They've achieved something even our scientists are still theorizing about. We have to report this." Reed made his decision. "No, we'll monitor for another cycle. Probably just some anomalous readings from their primitive nuclear experiments." He entered a command to filter out the quantum signatures from their regular reports. As the observation post continued its silent watch, none of its crew noticed the small changes happening across Earth. The barely visible shimmer of new satellites appearing in orbit, their quantum state materials making them nearly undetectable. The subtle shifts in the planet's electromagnetic field as humanity's greatest project neared completion. In his high-tech monitoring station, Reed had just made the greatest mistake in his long career. He had done what so many others had done before, underestimated the creatures on the blue planet below. But unlike previous mistakes in galactic history, this one would have consequences that would reshape the power structure of the entire galaxy. Earth was no longer the primitive world they thought it was. And very soon, everyone would know it. Deep within the mountains of North America, Admiral Tom Walker stood before the United Earth Defense Council. The underground chamber hummed with the power of quantum computers, their crystalline matrices casting a soft blue glow across the faces of humanity's leaders. The alien fleet has moved past Saturn, Walker said, his weathered face illuminated by the massive holographic display. Just as we predicted. The screen showed thousands of red dots moving through the solar system, each representing a ship that thought itself invisible to human detection. Council Leader Peters leaned forward in her chair. How many civilians have we evacuated to the underground cities? 98%, Walker replied. The remaining 2% have chosen to stay above ground, despite our warnings. But the quantum shields will protect them too, once activated. The room fell silent as a new alert flashed across the screen. The alien fleet had begun its final approach formation. Humanity had watched them for months, tracking their every move through the quantum detection grid that Earth had hidden in the fabric of space itself. It's time, Peters said, standing up. Send the warning. Walker nodded to the communications officer. On the surface above them, thousands of quantum-enhanced transmission arrays powered up simultaneously. The message they were about to send would be impossible for the alien fleet to ignore. The Admiral stepped up to the transmission podium. When he spoke, his voice was calm but firm. To the approaching fleet of the Galactic Council, this is Earth's United Defense Force. You have entered restricted space. Our sensors have detected your full fleet, including your cloaked support ships near Jupiter's moons. In the alien fleet's command ship, Commander James stared at the incoming transmission with a mixture of amusement and annoyance. They can see us. Impossible. He turned to his science officer. How are they broadcasting on our secure channels? Before the officer could respond, Walker's voice continued. We have analyzed your ship designs. Your primary shields operate on a frequency of 847.3 terahertz. Your secondary systems are vulnerable to quantum interference at the following coordinates. The transmission included detailed technical specifications of the alien fleet's weaknesses. James felt the first hint of concern. How did they get this information? Check for spies. Lock down all communication systems. Back on Earth, Walker delivered the final part of the message. You have one planetary rotation to withdraw your forces. If you choose to ignore this warning, we will be forced to demonstrate our defensive capabilities. This is not a negotiation. Leave our space, or face the consequences. The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in tense silence. On the screens above, they could see the alien fleet continuing its advance, unchanged. They didn't even slow down, one of the council members noted. Walker smiled slightly. Pride. The one weakness our calculations showed would be their downfall. They believe we stole their secrets through espionage. They cannot imagine we developed the technology to see through their cloaking shields. Peters walked to the window overlooking the quantum core that powered Earth's defenses. The massive structure pulsed with colors that didn't exist in normal space, the result of humanity's greatest scientific achievement. How long until they're in range? She asked. 6 hours, Walker replied. Guardian is ready. The quantum grid is at full power. All we have to do now is wait. In orbit above them, invisible to conventional detection, Earth's quantum satellite network hummed with power. Decades of secret development, trillions in resources, and the combined efforts of every nation had created a defense system unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The aliens were about to learn why you should always listen when Earth issues a warning. But first, humanity would give them one last chance to avoid their fate. Near Jupiter's largest moon, the massive alien fleet stretched out like a metal galaxy. Commander James stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Victory Bearer, watching as the last ships moved into attack formation. 10,000 vessels, the largest invasion force ever assembled in the history of the Galactic Council. Status report, James commanded, his voice carrying across the bridge. The giant view screen showed Earth in the distance, a small blue dot that would soon belong to them. First Officer Miller approached with a tablet. All ships report ready, Commander. The humans appear to have done nothing since their warning message. No visible defenses, no ship movements, not even an attempt to hide their cities. James smiled. This was exactly what he expected from a primitive species. Big words followed by no action. "Show me the invasion plan again." The holographic display lit up, showing their attack strategy. The fleet would split into 3 waves. The first would destroy any orbital defenses and take out communication centers. The second would target military bases and government buildings. The third would focus on population centers until the humans surrendered. Simple and effective, James said, mostly to himself. Just like taking candy from a baby, as these humans would say. On the lower decks of the flagship, weapon crews ran final checks on their planet killer bombs. Each one could level a city, and they had brought enough to destroy every major settlement on Earth twice over. The crews worked with the casual efficiency of those who expected an easy victory. "Sir," called out the sensor officer, "I've completed another scan of the planet." Still no sign of the defensive technology they claim to have. Their satellites are primitive, and their space stations are practically antiques. James walked to the front of the bridge, where a real-time image of Earth grew larger by the minute. "Did you know," he said to his bridge crew, "that just 50 years ago, these humans were still fighting with projectile weapons, bullets and bombs?" He laughed, and his officers joined in. "And now they dare to threaten us." First Officer Miller added, "With their quantum technology, they supposedly developed in secret." The bridge erupted in more laughter. James held up his hand for silence. "Let's review their warning message again. I want everyone to see what desperate lies look like." The main screen played back the human transmission. Admiral Walker's voice filled the bridge. "Your primary shields operate on a frequency of 847.3 terahertz. Your secondary systems are vulnerable to quantum interference." "They must have spies," one of the junior officers suggested. "That's the only way they could know those details." James nodded. "Exactly. And after we conquer their world, we'll find these spies and deal with them properly. But first," he pressed a button on his command chair, opening a channel to the entire fleet. "All ships, begin final approach. Invasion formation Delta. Weapons free on my command." The massive fleet moved forward as one, their engines creating a light show that would have been beautiful if it wasn't a prelude to destruction. Standard procedure called for a final scan of the target planet before engagement, but James didn't bother. What could these primitives possibly hide that their advanced sensors couldn't detect? In his arrogance, he failed to notice the subtle distortions in space around his ships, the barely visible ripples in reality that indicated something vast was already in motion. The quantum web that humanity had spent decades weaving through the solar system was invisible to the aliens' traditional sensors, just as Earth had planned. "Time to target," James asked, already imagining the celebrations that would follow their easy victory. 3 hours to optimal firing range, Miller reported. "The human cities will be in darkness when we arrive. Perfect timing for an invasion." James settled into his command chair, perfectly confident. In 3 hours, he would show these primitive humans the price of daring to challenge their superiors. In 3 hours, Earth would learn its place in the galaxy. Or so he thought. 2 hours before the alien fleet would reach firing range, Admiral Walker stood in Earth's Defense Command Center, watching the massive holographic display. Each enemy ship appeared as a red dot, moving steadily closer to Earth. Behind him, the quantum core pulsed with strange energy, its light casting moving shadows on the walls. "They're maintaining attack formation," reported Lieutenant Banks from her station. "No sign they're taking our warning seriously." Walker nodded slowly. "Then we'll give them one last chance." He turned to Council Leader Peters, who sat quietly observing the situation. "Permission to send the final warning." Peters studied the tactical display for a moment. "Granted. Make it clear. Make it simple. Make it something even their pride can't ignore." Walker stepped up to the communication array. This time, Earth would transmit its message using the aliens' own quantum frequencies, a capability they didn't know humans possessed. He took a deep breath and began. "Attention, Commander James and the invasion fleet. This is your final warning from Earth. We know you believe we acquired our information through espionage. You are wrong. To prove this, we are transmitting this message through your own secure quantum channels, channels that were only theorized to exist in your scientific databases. In the alien flagship, James jumped from his chair as Walker's voice emerged from their most secure communication system. "Impossible," he shouted. "These frequencies are..." Walker's message continued. "We are also transmitting the exact shield frequencies of your support ships near Europa, your fuel storage vessels hidden behind Ganymede, and the precise location of your cloaked command backup ships. We can see everything." The alien bridge erupted in chaos as officers rushed to verify the information. First Officer Miller's face turned pale as each detail proved correct. "Sir," he whispered to James, "they're reading our secure systems like open books." But James wouldn't show weakness now. "It's a trick. They must have hacked our networks." Even as he said it, he knew it wasn't true. These systems were unhackable. It was supposed to be physically impossible to access them without quantum technology far beyond Earth's level. On Earth, Walker continued the transmission. "We have activated a demonstration of our capabilities. Please observe your secondary radar systems." Across the alien fleet, radar screens flickered to life, showing something that should not exist: a perfect real-time map of their entire fleet, including every cloaked and hidden vessel. Their most advanced stealth technology meant nothing against Earth's quantum detection grid. "This is not a trick. This is not espionage." Walker's voice was calm but firm. "This is your last opportunity to retreat. You have 30 minutes to begin withdrawal. After that, we will have no choice but to defend ourselves. And Commander James, we will only warn you one last time. You cannot imagine what we are capable of." The transmission ended, leaving a heavy silence on both sides of the coming conflict. In Earth's command center, Peters stood up. "Status of the quantum defense grid. 100% operational," Banks reported. "Guardian Eye is ready. All planetary shields are charged and standing by." Walker watched the alien fleet on the display, looking for any sign they would turn back. Minutes ticked by. The red dots continued their advance. "They're still coming," Banks announced, though everyone could see it. "No change in course or speed." Peters shook her head sadly. "Pride. It makes fools of us all." She turned to Walker. "Begin final preparations. Alert all underground cities. Activate planetary defense mode." Around the Earth, invisible quantum satellites shifted into attack positions. The planetary shield grid hummed with power that could reshape reality itself. Humanity had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but they were ready. "May whatever gods they believe in help them," Walker said quietly. "Because in about 90 minutes, they're going to learn why Earth has survived every crisis in its history." The clock was ticking. And still, the alien fleet came on. The alien fleet entered Earth's orbit with weapons charged, their 10,000 ships blocking out the stars. Commander James stood proudly on his bridge, watching as the blue planet grew larger on his view screen. His sensors showed no defensive systems, no weapon platforms, not even basic orbital shields. Final attack positions confirmed. First Officer Miller reported, "All ships ready to fire on your command." James smiled. Despite the humans' strange warnings and impossible knowledge of their fleet, the planet lay defenseless before them. Begin targeting sequence. Priority on their largest cities first. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, in the Quantum Command Center, Admiral Walker watched the alien ships take position around the planet. The massive holographic display showed their fleet spreading out like a web of death above every major population center. "Guardian Eye is fully operational," Lieutenant Banks announced. "Quantum grid at maximum power, waiting for your command, sir." Walker looked at Council Leader Peters, who nodded slowly. "Activate planetary defense mode. Let's show them what humanity has been working on for the past 50 years. Around the planet, hidden in the fabric of space-time itself, Thousands of quantum nodes activated. Each one contained technology that the alien fleet's sensors couldn't even detect, let alone understand. The entire grid had been invisible until now, just as planned. On the alien flagship, a junior officer suddenly called out, "Sir, energy reading from the planet. It's like nothing I've ever seen." James rushed to the sensor station. "What do you mean? Show me." The display showed a strange pattern of energy emerging from Earth's surface. It wasn't electromagnetic, wasn't nuclear, wasn't any form of power their sensors were designed to detect. It was as if space itself was being reshaped around the planet. "Impossible," James whispered. Then louder, "All ships, open fire. Now." Before they. His order was cut short as something extraordinary happened. A geometric pattern of pure energy appeared around Earth, like a massive crystalline sphere made of light and mathematics. The quantum defense grid had revealed itself at last. In the underground command center, Walker turned to the main control panel. "Guardian, initiate Defense Protocol Alpha." The room hummed with power as humanity's greatest achievement came fully online. Guardian, an AI system built with technology decades ahead of anything the Galactic Council possessed, took control of Earth's defenses. "Greetings, Admiral Walker." Guardian's calm voice filled the command center. "I have analyzed the alien fleet. Their technology is primitive compared to our quantum systems. Shall I proceed with the defense protocol?" "Confirmed, Guardian. Remember, minimal loss of life if possible." Above them, the alien fleet finally opened fire. Thousands of energy weapons and planet-killer bombs launched simultaneously at Earth. James watched with satisfaction, expecting to see continents burn. Instead, something incredible happened. As the weapons hit Earth's quantum shield, they simply stopped. Not blocked, not deflected, but frozen in space-time itself. The entire assault hung motionless above the atmosphere, caught in a web of quantum fields that defied the laws of physics as the aliens understood them. What are they doing?" Miller's voice shook as he stared at the impossible sight. James couldn't answer. His fleet's most powerful weapons, enough firepower to destroy a dozen worlds, hung useless in space. And now something new was happening. The geometric patterns around Earth were changing, growing more complex, more beautiful, and more terrifying with each passing second. "Sir," the sensor officer's voice cracked with fear, "the quantum field. It's expanding. It's reaching for our ships." In the command center, Guardian spoke again. "Defense Protocol Alpha initiating. Time to completion. 3.7 seconds. Walker looked up at the tactical display, knowing he was about to witness something that would change the galaxy forever. "Well," he said quietly, "they can't say we didn't warn them." The trap had been sprung, and in less than 4 seconds, the alien fleet would learn exactly how far humanity had advanced beyond their expectations. Time seemed to slow down as Guardian initiated the defense protocol. The quantum field surrounding Earth pulsed with colors that had no names in any human or alien language. In the command center, Admiral Walker and Council Leader Peters watched in silence as humanity's greatest weapon activated. 3 seconds remaining, Guardian announced calmly. On the alien flagship, Commander James frantically shouted orders. "Retreat. All ships, full power to engines. Get us out of here." But it was too late. The quantum field had already entangled with their ship's atomic structure. Physical movement was no longer possible. 10,000 ships hung frozen in space, their weapons still uselessly suspended against Earth's shields. 2 seconds remaining. First Officer Miller stared at his sensor readings in horror. "Sir, the quantum field. It's not just stopping us. It's changing reality around us." The geometric patterns surrounding Earth had evolved into a complex mathematical structure that wrapped around the entire alien fleet. Each ship was now encased in its own cocoon of quantum energy, like insects caught in a web of light. 1 second remaining. In the command center, Lieutenant Banks monitored the power readings. "Guardian is drawing full power from the quantum core. All systems performing perfectly. Point 0.7 seconds remaining. James watched helplessly as the strange energy began to penetrate his ship's hull, passing through their strongest shields as if they didn't exist. The bridge crew stood frozen, realizing too late the terrible mistake they had made in ignoring Earth's warnings. 0.3 seconds remaining. Walker looked at the tactical display one last time. Guardian, execute. The AI's response was immediate. Executing final phase. Quantum displacement field at maximum power. In orbit, reality itself seemed to bend. The quantum field surrounding each alien ship began to vibrate at frequencies that shouldn't exist in normal spacetime. The effect started slowly at first. A shimmer here, a distortion there. 0.1 seconds remaining. Then, in an instant that seemed to stretch forever, it happened. The quantum field reached its critical point, and the laws of physics as the aliens understood them simply stopped applying. Each ship began to fade from normal space, their matter and energy being transferred into a specially created pocket dimension. There was no explosion, no dramatic flash of light, no sound in the vacuum of space, just the silent, inevitable process of 10,000 ships being removed from reality itself. On the flagship's bridge, James had just enough time to whisper, "Impossible," before his ship vanished along with all the others. In Earth's command center, Guardian's calm voice announced, "Defense protocol complete. Time elapsed, 3.7 seconds. All hostile vessels successfully transferred to containment dimension Delta 7. No casualties detected. All crew members in suspended animation until further notice." The holographic display showed empty space where the alien fleet had been moments before. Earth's quantum shield sparkled one last time, then faded back to invisibility, ready for any future threats. Walker let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Status report. All systems nominal. Banks reported, her voice filled with quiet awe. The quantum grid is stable. Guardian reports successful containment of all alien vessels and crew. They're just gone, sir. Exactly as planned. Peters stood up slowly, looking at the now empty tactical display. Not gone, Lieutenant. Just relocated to a place where they can't hurt anyone while they learn some humility. Guardian, Walker called out, send the status update to all Earth defense stations and underground cities. Let our people know they can return to the surface. Message sent. Admiral, the AI responded. Shall I prepare the diplomatic package for the Galactic Council? Walker smiled slightly. Yes, I think it's time to show them exactly what humanity is capable of, and why they should have listened to our warnings. Above them, Earth's quantum defense grid resumed its invisible watch, protecting humanity with technology that would reshape the galaxy's balance of power forever. The entire space battle, if it could even be called that, had lasted less than 4 seconds. 10,000 ships, gone in seconds, and this was just the beginning. Captain Reed stood frozen at his observation post, staring at the empty space where the largest invasion fleet in galactic history had existed just moments ago. His 4 eyes blinked rapidly, trying to process what he had just witnessed. The junior observer, Mark, worked frantically at his console, running scan after scan of Earth's orbit. Nothing, sir, Mark reported, his voice shaking. No debris, no energy signatures, no quantum traces. 10,000 ships just gone. Reed's hands trembled as he opened a channel to the Galactic Council. Before he could speak, every screen in the observation post lit up with a new transmission from Earth. The face of Admiral Walker filled the main display. Greetings, Captain Reed, Walker said calmly. I believe now would be a good time to file that report you should have sent when you first detected our quantum experiments. In the Council's grand chamber on the galactic capital world, the emergency session fell silent as Earth's transmission reached them. The 500 representatives of the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy watched in stunned silence as Walker continued speaking. To the honored members of the Galactic Council, Walker's voice was firm, but not threatening. Your invasion fleet has been safely contained in a pocket dimension of our creation. All crew members are unharmed and in suspended animation. They will remain there until diplomatic arrangements can be made for their return." The council chamber erupted in chaos. The head council member, an ancient being named Wright, raised his hands for silence. How is this possible? Earth was rated as a Level 2 civilization less than a year ago. Walker smiled slightly. Your classification was based on what we allowed you to see. While you watched our surface activities, humanity worked underground, advancing our quantum technology in secret. We are now, by your own classification system, a Type 1.5 civilization, specializing in quantum engineering and dimensional physics. The display shifted to show Earth's defensive capabilities. The quantum grid became visible, a beautiful and terrifying network of power that encompassed the entire solar system. Guardian's capabilities were demonstrated, showing how it could detect, analyze, and counter any known form of technology in microseconds. "We kept this hidden for a reason," Walker explained. "Humanity has a long history of warfare, but we've learned from it. We didn't want to reveal our advancement until we had to. We hoped to join the galactic community peacefully, when we were ready." In the observation post, Reed finally found his voice. "The energy signatures, the quantum experiments. I should have reported them." "Yes, you should have," Walker agreed. "Consider this a lesson in taking primitive species more seriously." Back in Earth's command center, Council Leader Peters stepped forward to join Walker on the transmission. "We are transmitting data packages to all Council members, demonstrating our current technological level and our peaceful intentions. We also include specifications for basic quantum shielding, a gift to show our goodwill. The invasion fleet will be returned," Walker added, "once proper diplomatic channels are established, and we have guarantees of peaceful relations. Their time in suspension will seem like seconds to them, though they may find the galaxy slightly changed when they return." The head council member Wright stood slowly. "And if we refuse your terms?" Walker's expression remained neutral. "That would be unwise. We've demonstrated our defensive capabilities. Don't make us demonstrate our offensive ones." In the Quantum Command Center, Guardian's display showed the shocked reaction spreading across thousands of worlds as the news traveled at FTL speeds. Humanity had just reshaped the galaxy's power structure without firing a single shot. "Transaction complete," Guardian announced. "All data packages delivered. Diplomatic protocols ready to initiate." Walker nodded, then delivered the final message to the galaxy. "Earth is ready to join the galactic community. As equals, not subjects, we look forward to peaceful cooperation. But remember this day. Remember what happened to the fleet. And next time Earth issues a warning, listen." The transmission ended, leaving a changed galaxy to ponder humanity's place among the stars. The age of underestimating Earth was over.